What's happening, everybody? Got a good guest today in Zack Simmons. Zack is the speed demon kit-thrasher in the New Orleans band Goatwhore. He incredibly enough joined the band at 17 years old and has more or less grown up on the road traveling with the band across the U.S., into Canada, across Europe, even to more remote places in Australia and even as far as Tasmania. So we get into his upbringing in Arizona, biking for exercise, some of his pre-gig rules, and having supportive parents who sit through not only you learning your chosen instrument, but sucking at it along the way, and then inevitably having bands that likely suck as well practicing in the house. Plus the modern age of demoing ideas despite geographical differences, file sharing and whatnot, and embracing his metal-nomadic lifestyle. So without further ado, here we go. Blast away. Zack Simmons. Crash, bang, boom.
Crowds go mad with joy.
Zack Simmons, thank you for sitting down with me, man. How you making out, buddy?
I'm doing well, man. How are you?
Doing pretty good, man. I'm excited about seeing y'all tonight. We're in a small venue. I think y'all gonna sound cranked up. There's a wall of amps. There's big drums. There's all the big, loud metal things going on upstairs.
Indeed, that's what's gonna happen.
Right on, man. How has this run been thus far? Has this whole run been with Venom Inc.?
Yes, it's been about 4 or 5 weeks we've been out now. So tonight's the last night of this little adventure. So it's been good, man. It's been smooth, no complaints. All the shows have been killer. So. Can't complain.
Nice. Now, for those who may not know, the difference between Venom and Venom Inc. What is the difference between those two bands?
Oh, Venom. I guess it's Kronos Venom. So
okay,
it's him, and I'm not sure who the other two he's got playing with him now, but it's kind of been revolving. But Venom Inc. is Abaddon, and then Mantis, and then Demolition Man on bass and vocals, but
gotcha.
So you got 2 out of the 3 in Venom Inc., and then you got 1 out of the 3 in Venom. So
there's actually more members of Venom in Venom Inc. than in Venom.
Yes, but the way I see it, man, a world of 2 Venoms could be worse, you know.
Right on. Is that
More
a band
Venom,
that you grew up listening to or were inspired by? Yet?
Totally. I mean, I'm younger than the older dude, so I mean, I wasn't around, back then, but I still grew up on the same kind of trajectory of the same kind of music, just at different time period, I guess.
Was that one of the first heavy bands that you came across that was inspirational to you, or at least from a drum standpoint, or even just as a listener?
Probably it came a little later, because I think as most people, you start out with Sabbath, Maiden, and stuff, and
right.
When you start delving deeper, I remember being at the record store, and I'm sure the older guys in my band will tell you the same thing, just looking through records or whatever, and you see Venom, black metal, or this was scary.
It was scary. It was legit scary.
You turned on despite the artwork itself, and then you listen to it, and then you start delving into, deeper, darker stuff from there.
Right. The albums that I remember looking at and being frightened by were the Slayer covers and Venom, likely. I think those were like the 2 scary ones when you would actually, as an older man myself who recalls going through record bins prior to what is now the vinyl resurgence, let's say back in the 80s, we could say, I do remember that, and I remember being frightened by it. Yeah,
I mean, Slayer of the Venom artwork, Merciful Fate and King Diamond. I was like, who the fuck is this guy, man? This guy looks fucking twisted. This is awesome.
That's killer, man. What age did you start playing drums?
At 8 years old.
8?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I started off in school band, just give you a snare drum.
The usual concert band type thing?
Yeah. I started like that, and then I got a kid a couple years later, and then my parents are like, all right, well, I guess it wasn't just a phase, so put up with some more noise and all that shit. So
I talked to so many drummers about this. It's phenomenal in hindsight when you think about your parents' ability to deal with you bashing on shit for years and sucking terribly.
Yeah.
Like that's the one thing. It's like they have to not only hear the loudness and all that percussion and everything, but they also have to deal with you just sucking.
Yeah, and then they have to put up the when you finally get a cowbell too.
Right,
you know?
exactly.
Sucking and then having a cowbell for the first
to
time.
boot. Absolutely.
Yep.
And then, of course, I'm assuming this is the way that it seems to go is that bands inevitably practice at the person's house where the drum set is.
Yeah.
Was that the case with you?
Yep.
Yeah. So then they had to listen to your bands, right?
Yeah, they had to listen to my shitty band too.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, they put up with a lot, man, and it's cool though. You know, I mean, if they wouldn't have, I wouldn't be here right now. So
Absolutely.
it's an awesome thing.
Now you grew up. You originally Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah.
Man, it's hot as fuck there, dude.
It's brutal. It's
a
very
different kind of heat. I was talking to you earlier about it, man. Growing up in Southeast Louisiana, like the swamp heat is one thing. It sucks at night. You'll still sweat.
Yep.
Whereas at night, sometimes you can cool off. Sometimes at night, out in the desert.
Yeah, sometimes.
But dude, I've also been out there at night when it's blazing hot.
Yeah,
and I don't
it'll still
understand.
be 100 degrees and trying to jump in the pool. Your pool's fucking 95 degrees. It's like, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah, I had some crazy trips out in Utah. You ever been out to Utah?
Yeah.
Have you been out in like Bryce Canyon and Zion National Park and done any parks?
I have not.
Oh, dude, you got to get out there
I
sometime.
bet. Sounds cool.
That's Mars. It might as well be Mars.
Yeah. I've seen pictures. It looks pretty amazing.
It's insane, man. And I got lost out there and was like with my ex-wife, probably one of the breaking points in the relationship.
Did you kill her out there or something?
I wanted to, and she thought we were gonna die when we were out there, but it was it's no country for old men, man. You can go out there and die, and the buzzards will eat you, and I guess that's that,
Yeah, I'm
break
sure.
a leg. They had that dude who had to cut his fucking arm off out there when he was
I saw
hiking.
that. That's fucking brutal, man.
When I was still living in Louisiana, I would go to the David Letterman show, and one of his guests was that guy.
Really?
And he came on, and he was talking about it, man. And dude, the crowd was gasping. He had to cut through it with a Leatherman. He had to break his arm and then cut through it, dude.
Man, I'm
and
sure
then
at a
crawl out
certain
of
point,
there.
though, the trauma, maybe you won't feel as much after a certain
would think
point, maybe,
so.
or just the adrenaline or something.
I don't know, man. Oh,
Either
dude.
way, that's fucked.
Yeah. So be careful when you go out to Utah. Is the
Yeah,
serious
man.
moral of that story.
All right.
I had multiple run-ins where I was like, "Oh boy, this is it. I'm gonna die out here."
Yeah.
It's gnarly. Well, being from Arizona and some of these guys, Louisiana and Goatwhore, how did you end up joining this band?
The second record just came out, and my local band at the time opened up. I think it was Immolation, Goatwhore, Grave, and then my local band opened up the show. So that second record just came out, so I bought it at the show, and then I got a set list. I hung it up on my wall. I was all stoked, and then I was reading like their website, and like it was before Facebook and all that, but it was like, all right, we're auditioning drummers. Like, if you're interested, learn these 6 songs and email Ben. So I emailed Ben and learned the 6 songs, and I was 17 at the time, and I was still in high school, so it was like my spring break from high school. I flew down to New Orleans, auditioned, and flew back home. Didn't hear anything for like a month, and I was like, all right, whatever. And then they're like, yeah, you got the gig if you want. I'm like, all right, well, I got to graduate high school first, so I got like a month and a half left of school. They're like, all right, cool. So finished all that, graduated, and then drove my truck out to New Orleans and started doing this.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man.
It's crazy.
That is really crazy. And so you've been in the band what now? 13 years? Is it?
Yeah. Yep.
How has it been thus far, man? It's been a lot of records and a lot of touring, man. This band it does a lot of touring.
Yeah, it's been constant, man. So it's like, I don't know, time goes by fucking quick,
Yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, we're just lucky to just keep going, It's always another tour to do, another record to do, another song to write, and it's been awesome.
How do you? Had you done much touring prior to being in this band? Really?
No. So
this is a whole new world.
yeah, I was kind of thrown to the wolves, being a young little asshole, and lucky to have a good group of guys to be patient and kind of, let me fuck up a few times and do stupid shit and then get my act together. But
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I don't know. I was lucky to have that support and patience with a group of older dudes who've been around and done it forever,
They
putting up
took
with
you under their wing.
Yeah, so it's cool. And I wasn't like a complete fucking idiot or anything.
Right.
But, being 17, I'm like, oh, what's
Oh my
this?
God, I
What's
can't
this?
imagine.
You learn pretty quick, though, and what to do and what not to do.
So you were literally growing up while touring.
Yeah, pretty much, man. I mean, Yeah, thrown to the wolves, like I said, but I learned a lot more from 17 to 21 than I would have in fucking college or something.
Yeah. Within those first few years, like, where are some of the places that you went that just blew your mind?
Well, the first few years it was just mainly U.S. touring, and then Canada, and then finally went to Europe, and then Australia, and then kept going back to those places. So yeah, it's just been awesome just to get to know, have amazing friends in different cities, and just being able to go back to these places once or twice a year, 3 times a year, and be more familiar with the places and the people, and yeah, it's just awesome.
What's your impression of Australia? Whenever I meet Australians here in the States, I feel like they're like a redneck version of English people.
I can see that, but it's funny because because the last tour we did in Australia, we did 3 weeks over there.
Wow!
And normally you just do a week and you just hit all the major cities. So 3 weeks over there, we hit all these out of the way towns that a lot of international bands don't really go to. So you want to talk about like redneck Australia? It gets pretty rednecky out there. It's funny, but yeah, the people are all super cool all around. Just really laid back and just they like to have a good time. And but I agree with what you said. It's kind of like a redneck, UK or something.
Yeah. Of the places that you played in Australia, where were some of your favorites?
Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane are always killer. Adelaide, Perth, those are the major ones. But, we like Canberra. We've even done Tasmania a couple times.
No way, really?
Yeah, it's cool. You just take a little prop plane over, and play a couple shows down there. It gets rowdy as hell. It's fun.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've not always been the best in what minimal touring that I've done. I get so anxious. Like, what do you do with yourself prior to just sitting around? Because so much of playing a gig is sitting around and waiting for it to happen. What do you do with yourself? I always want to drink beer, but I can't just sit for fucking 6 hours and get wasted before I play a gig.
Yeah, I don't drink before I play. So I mean,
that's a rule you've got on the.
Oh yeah, it's just something. It just doesn't help me at all. So I'm just like,
no.
So it's more like a reward for after. Like, all right, cool. Now I can catch up with everybody else and
exactly
pound a few back. But take a lot of naps. Naps are good. It's a good way to pass the time. Sit and stare at a wall in a dressing room. That's
exactly. That's another way to pass the time.
Especially after like 5 weeks, you'll like find yourself like, I'm really just been staring at this wall for like 5 minutes. What am I doing?
Right.
Your mind just starts getting a little fogged up. But
I bet.
There's always some shit to go check out, place to go get good food or hang out with friends. I don't know. There's always something to do.
With what is like one of the longer runs or tours that you've done?
Like a single run, probably it was like 7 or 8 weeks in Europe with it was like 2 years ago. I think it was Dying Fetus, Goatwhore, and a few other bands on it. But 7 or 8 weeks, and it was like November, December, and over there it wasn't quite cold enough to where it was snowing yet, but it was just constantly raining the whole. I don't think I saw the sun in like that whole 7-8 weeks. It was like wet, cold, and dark. And that's probably the single, probably longest standalone run. But we've done other tours where they just like a day off after tour ends, you start another one. So we'll be out for like 3 months, pretty much nonstop. But that's always crazy. And this one's kind of like that too. We're done with this tonight. We do 3 shows on our own to get back home. We got like 3 days off. We fly to Colombia for a festival.
Oh, badass.
Fly back, and then we do like a couple just weekend regional things around Louisiana, and then do a run out west to the Ozfest, Knotfest thing with 1349. Come back, then we go to Europe, November, December. So I think I get to go home, actually back to Phoenix for like 3 days.
Oh shit!
In total until the end of the year. But I think that's great, man. I'd rather just have shit lined up and look at a fucking long ass list of tour dates. I like that.
It's crazy that you've acclimated yourself to it. It was something that I could never quite get used to. But like I said, I mean, you started at such a young age and it was so busy right out the gates. I feel like that you're accustomed to it.
Yeah, pretty much, man. No kids.
Yeah. Goldfish? You got a goldfish back home? Anything?
No, nothing.
Yeah, you can't really have anything.
No girlfriend. Just avid supporter of condoms. No kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keep it simple.
I hear you. You're a metal nomad, man.
Pretty much, I guess. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, same here, only I'd never toured, and I was not adamant about condoms.
Yeah, there you go. That's one way to do it.
Get rid of some STDs here and there, right?
Yeah, the pull-out method's not always effective, though.
Apparently so. Man, playing all this sort of extreme drumming and whatnot, did it take you a while to physically acclimate to that? You know, it's one thing to play it in your house or whatever, or play it, and then like we said, you know, for 2 months playing it, I'm assuming at times little aches and pains start popping up.
Yeah, totally, and it's like you said, it's different when you're practicing in your jam room and
right.
You get on a stage where it's 1,000,000 degrees and adrenaline and you can't hear, and you just got to kind of learn to roll with all those things, and you get used to it and you just kind of adapt to it, and like if you're doing a long tour, you got to make sure you take care of yourself, stay hydrated and try to eat well. Don't try to go overindulge too much,
Right.
There's always a fine line, but you got to find that line.
Exactly. You haven't had any particular aches and pains or anything from playing?
I think a couple of years ago I had this weird thing where, like, my fingertips would go numb like halfway through the set, and it was freaking me out because I'd like look up like WebMD. It's like, oh man, it could be carpal tunnel or something like that, which it could be, but it somehow went away, and I just kept doing these stretches and just made sure I warmed up and stayed hydrated, and it just kind of went away on its own, thankfully. But it was wormy for a while. I'm like, man, this ain't good.
Right. Yeah, you must have been getting some sort of inflammation that was blocking flow.
Yeah, it was freaking me out for sure.
Was getting crimped.
It was weird. It just kind of went away on its own, thankfully, and hasn't come back. So
that's good.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked on that.
What is one of the more fun gigs in all these gigs that you played that might strike your memory?
Well, they're all pretty fun, to be honest. But
or one of the crazier ones.
One that sticks out, I guess, probably 5 or 6 years ago in New York, actually. It was one of those, played on a boat. It was I Hate God, Goatwhore, Pig Destroyer, and I think Anal Cunt was on it. I'm not sure, can't remember. But this boat just sailed around the harbor for the duration of the show, and it's like 300 fucking maniacs on this boat, and there's a little balcony. People were jumping off, and dude got arrested on the boat, and he's like handcuffed to like a fucking bar like this, like right next to like where our little dressing room area was, like down below.
Oh shit!
So we're like cracking beers, we're like
this dude handcuffed.
Tempted to give him one. I felt bad, but
yeah,
there's like a security guard next to me. It's like, nah, it's not cool. I'm like, all right,
oh shit,
sorry, man. But yeah, it was fucking madness, dude. I remember I God started playing, and Mike Williams on the mic. He's like, let's Al Qaeda this motherfucker. Let's sink this motherfucker. I'm like, oh man.
Not what you want to hear when you're on the Titanic. Thanks,
like,
guys.
Let me get my drum kit off before you sink this, man.
Yeah, exactly. Well, man, as far as drumming, you didn't have any endorsements prior to being with Goatwhore, right?
No.
Are you're with Pearl and
Sabian, Evans, and Ahead drumsticks.
How's that been, man? It's got to be nice having an endorsement.
Oh, it's great, man. It's lucky to work with these companies and have their support, and any little bit helps.
Absolutely.
It's not like it's fucking free gear or anything, but it's a chunk off of what I would be paying. So it's nice to have that help, especially when you're hitting shit for a living. Shit's gonna break. Touring as much as we do, it definitely comes in handy.
Yeah. Do you find you break cymbals a lot?
Not since I switched to a little bit heavier crashes, but I was using like medium thin weight crashes, and
they sound great.
They sound great, but I was blowing through them, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I was like, all right, it's time to get a little beefier cymbal setup, but
absolutely.
Yeah, and I love the Holy Chinas, the Sabian Holy Chinas.
Oh yeah, those are cool.
Man, those they break really easy, especially when you lay into them hard. But yeah, shit happens, shit breaks.
Right.
Get a new one.
Yeah,
it's all good.
That's what I'm talking about. Downtime-wise, it doesn't sound like you have that much downtime, and when you do, it sounds like you may not know what to do with yourself. Is that the case?
Sometimes, but yeah, I keep myself busy. I start doing like spin classes.
Really?
I got really into cycling, like just on my bike, and then it's so damn hot in Phoenix, outside, so I started doing spin classes, and I feel like I get more out of that, like an hour of that, than I would in like an hour and a half just riding my bike. So
really,
it's something fun to do, and just makes you feel good.
So you don't really ride outside that much?
Oh, I do. I usually do like 12, 15 miles a day, but during the summer, I started doing the spin classes to get out of the heat a little bit. And,
nice.
yeah. So yeah, it's cool, something to do, you know.
When you're doing 12 or 15 miles, are you doing that mostly on flat land, or are you going up into the mountains, or?
It's mostly flat, but there's a lot of hills where I live, so
right.
so a lot of grades and stuff like that. So it's cool. I got that little run meter app, so it kind of gives you your stats every mile. So
right.
kind of pushes you to go a little faster each time. So yeah, it's something fun to do.
Dude, I got my bike stolen. The guy that had worked on it at the local bike shop saw it in Manhattan. It got stolen here in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. He saw it on 14th and 6th in the city, and he had his own lock. He had a second lock, so he locked it up, gave me the key, and I went and got bolt cutters, cut that guy's lock off.
That's awesome.
Unlocked that lock and took my fucking bike back.
Damn.
I got my bike back.
That's sick. That doesn't happen every day, I'm sure.
Fuck no, it doesn't. It never happens.
That's crazy.
I've never talked to anybody that got their bike back.
Damn.
So there you go. That's my story of getting a bike back.
That's pretty lucky, man.
Yeah, man.
Crazy.
I love riding bikes, though, man. I've wanted. You don't ride motorcycles, do you?
No.
Yeah, my dad. I grew up riding them with my dad. My dad has always ridden. My grandfather died on one, and I've always been like, maybe I'll ride bicycles. You know, they're dangerous enough. I've been fortunate, knock on wood. You know,
I can't imagine riding around this city, man.
I used to ride it into Manhattan and be riding it in the traffic and everything.
That's crazy.
And it's like you're a hair away from some shit happening for sure. It's kind of exciting. I love mountain biking as well. Obviously, I don't go mountain biking, but my mother lives in New Mexico. She lived in Arizona for a little while. She was in Tucson, so I'd go mountain biking out there. And I love that shit. It's like I have terrible attention deficit, but when I'm mountain biking, it's the most focused that I've ever been in my entire life. In that moment, for that, whatever it is, 25, 30 minutes that I'm flying down a mountain, I've never felt both more free and more focused.
That's awesome.
It's crazy. So that's my outlet. I wish I could do it more often. I love that shit, man.
That's cool. Yeah, when I ride, if I'm like learning new tunes for something, or we're working on demos, and I'm just trying to think about the next part or something, it's a very focus-oriented thing. Like, just put earbuds in and go out on the ride. Just really think and dissect the music you're trying to learn or work on. So
do you find that in learning material, and because I guess when you're in Arizona, do those guys send you demos of just stuff that they're working on, and then you memorize it to some degree and then flesh it out?
So we do that, and then we'll just kind of go back and forth. I got a recording set up at home, and we all use the same software. So Sammy will send over some riffs, and I'll throw a little arrangement together, put beats to it, and we'll just go back and forth with it, and then just get a head start for when we actually meet up in person and have a game plan.
Nice.
Instead of just twiddling our thumbs looking at each other,
The internet is an amazing thing sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
I mean, if there's some of it obviously drives me crazy. I mean, some of the social media stuff, just vision on a daily basis and being reminded of all of the varying ideas and ideologies that everyone is embracing at different times on all sides everywhere. Sometimes it could just be too fucking much. But then it's like just like we're talking about, my buddy's like, hey man, I want you to check out this song. Can you play something to it? I'm going to send you the file. That file sharing aspect of it just blows my mind, man.
Yeah, it's amazing, man, what you can do these days. It's pretty cool.
Well, what's going on for the rest of the year and into 2018, man?
Oh, well, after tonight, we do three shows on the way back to New Orleans. A couple days off. We fly to Colombia, Medellin, for a festival.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
And come back from that, do a couple weekend things around Louisiana. Then we start up like a 2-week run with 1349 out to Ozfest meets Knotfest, and then come back from that, and we go to Europe November, December, and then we've already got next year being flushed out too. So it's gonna be pretty constant from here on out. So
cool, man. Thanks for sitting down and talking to me, man.
Hell yeah, man. Likewise.
Right on. Thanks again for tuning in, guys. If y'all enjoyed it, it's good talking to Zack and checking out Goatwhore at St. Vitus. Some loud and bombastic metals. Definitely check out all the links in the description, including the Metal Blade records that they're on, to the Bandcamp, to Facebook, to all the social media stuff, and all that good stuff. Catch y'all on the next round. Crash, bang, boom!
We are coming to cross the bride.